Alright, so hi, today I'll be presenting my second video for the management class of Mr. Jonathan Forbes at Champlain St. Lawrence College for the winter 2017. So it'll be about Southwest Airlines, and the objective of the video is to demonstrate how the theory learned in the class applies to reality and how it is different. So the content will be Chapter 10, Managing Teams, Chapter 12, Managing Diverse Workforce, Chapter 14, Leadership, and Chapter 16, Control. So the source will be the management book by Chuck Williams, Terry Champion, and Ike Hall. So about Southwest, well, basically it's a commercial airline company that flies passengers from US to US destination and also US to nearby international destinations. So it is based in Dallas, Texas. It flies to 97 cities in 40 states of the US, and it also flies to District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. It has over 3,500 flights per day. It also serves countries like Mexico, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Aruba, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, and Belize. So Southwest is being known for being the world's most successful low-cost, high-frequency point-to-point carrier in the world, and all that is because of the way it's managed. So let's go a little deeper in the management of the company. So teams at Southwest, well, basically all flights have cabin crew, which is made of pilots and flight attendants, and they all work together for several flights in a row because the flights are short. So they're working for two, three, or maybe four flights in a row in one day. So there's one chief flight attendant per flight that takes initiative, which can be considered as a type of leadership. And there's a high energy environment because people are helping each other to create a friendly approach to the customer, and that's what customers like about the company. So at Southwest, it's about finding and hiring the right people that have the right attitude to provide this friendly service to customer, and this is why customers come back to the company. So for the strategy, well, basically they have a low-cost strategy because they do a lot of short flights and they want to fill those flights. So the employees work harder than other airlines because the pilots, the cabin crew, and the ground crew also work together to clean and prepare the flight for the next flight. So it's faster because sometimes airports do have people to clean the planes, but it's a bit longer for the plane to depart for another flight. So by asking pilots and cabin crew to clean the plane, well, it's faster and people can get in faster. And sometimes that's what it takes to do another flight that'll bring more money at the end of the day. So they also cut costs by using one kind of airplane, which are Boeing 737-800. And the average flight, as I said, is 55 minutes. So there's no international flight and it's quick to turn around and do high frequency, which is once again cheaper for the company. So the company actually, well, the managers have created a diversity management council within the company because in the US there's a lot of diversity and they want to include people no matter what their background and race or ethnicity is. So it takes into account the deep level and low level diversity, which is age, gender, race or ethnicity, capacities, and attitude. So there's training without any discrimination and without considering where you're coming from, and it's more about which you can bring to the company than who you are. So they don't take into consideration if you're black or white, for example. It doesn't really matter to them. They just want you to have the right attitude. They want you to be positive and bring a friendly approach. So the personality plays a big role in the hiring process since it needs to fit with the friend service approach of the company. So in what concerns responsibility of the company, well, the company has a social responsibility and it really has it at heart. So it invests a lot into programs in the community and it recycles the waste from the plane. So that's what managers, are taking into consideration when they take their decisions. They want the community to take advantage of their decisions. This is why they're among the top four of the most fuel efficient airlines on U.S. domestic operations, and they also have many other projects that will help the community once again. So for the production strategy, well, for the chase demand, they have pricing tickets lower on non-peak travel days. So it'll enable them, to take advantage of other competitors that will keep pretty much the same price. And also for the chase demand, well, there's an online booking system that will enable a customer to book by themselves. So it creates them a great advantage. Well, because not all the companies necessarily have these types of systems. So for the level capacity, well, they hire seasonal employees because once again there are some periods of the year where there's more demand, so they hire seasonal employees. So that's some of the decisions that have to be taken. There's a maximizing efficiency because the Boeing 737 has a little first class, but not a lot, or sometimes there's even no first class at all. So if we have a look at the plane that's right over here, we can see that this is all economic class. And sometimes we know that, well, in the airline industry, uh, first class is what brings the most money to the companies. But however, that's not what Southwest wants to bring. Southwest wants to create short flights, so you don't necessarily need first class when you have short flights. And this is why they want to do as much as they can of flights during the day, to get into their money as fast as possible. So for the customer participation, well, when you get into the airport and you travel with Southwest, there's a self-service kiosk which enables them to participate, and it's part of their production strategy. And what concerns the share capacity, well, since they don't necessarily want to spend a lot of money, they share gates with other airlines at the airport, and it enables them to cut in the costs once again. So for the controlling, well, the quality measure at Southwest is certainly value, because they want to have a low cost and they want to offer a friendly but a low cost service to their customers. So this is why they're gonna use value as a quality measure. And the company also has standards, so they want the employees to follow these standards in order to control the quality of their service. And the customers recognize the difference, and this is why they're number one, because since customers consider that it's low cost and they have a great service for these short flights, well, once again, they'll certainly come back. So that's really great. So in conclusion, well, yes, of course, the theory applies to reality at Southwest Airlines because of the diversity management, because of how they manage employees. So innovation in bringing low cost into short flights is once again what has brought the company to a whole new level. So thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and I hope you learned a lot on Southwest Airlines.